For 2 years, the answer has been boringly simple. Want smart glasses? Buy Ray-Bans. Don't look at anything else, just buy the Ray-Bans. But today, I can't say that anymore. These are the Rokid AI style glasses. They're lighter than the Ray-Bans, shoot 3K videos, and the marketing calls them a meta killer. So today, I'm putting these two head to head to show you where Rokid wins, where they miss the mark, and if meta is still the obvious choice, or if the hype about the competition is finally catching up to reality. First, let's talk about the damage. The Ray-Ban Meta Gen 2 starts at $379. Add in transitions or prescription lenses, and they're closer to $450. The Rokid AI Style start at $299, undercutting the base Meta Gen 2 by about $80. Add photochromic lenses, and the price jumps by a little over $100, bringing them closer together. But Rokid still undercuts Meta overall. So, are you making some compromises for that lower price? Let's find out. First up, comfort and style. I'll give Rokid this right away. They are light. At about 38.5 grams, they're noticeably lighter than the 48-gram Ray-Bans. But this comes at a cost. The build quality reflects the lower weight. They feel a little bit like toy glasses, almost like plastic gas station sunglasses. That said, you could spin that as a compliment. They're strikingly light, and you genuinely forget you're wearing a computer on your face. Where Rokid stumbles a bit is the look. Now, of course, looks are subjective, but Ray-Ban has an iconic, well-established design. The Rokids look bigger, more techy. That said, I don't think it's a deal breaker. So, if comfort is your top priority, Rokid clearly wins. If you care more about build quality and how these look on your face in public, Ray-Ban is still the leader. Now, before we get to cameras, let's talk about daily use, because this is where the difference really shows up. Imagine this. You're out for a walk. You say, "Hey Meta, play deep house music on Spotify." And Meta just does it. Music starts playing. No reaching for the phone. Everything is good. You cannot do this basic function on the Rokids. You cannot initiate music playback directly from the glasses. That alone is a pretty big miss. And when that music does play, you notice the difference. The Rokid speakers are fine. They work. But the Meta speakers are noticeably crisper, cleaner, and actually have some bass. Plus, the Rokid has more sound leakage. So, if you're listening to a podcast on a quiet train, odds are the person next to you is listening right along with you. Finally, there are the microphones. On the Rokid, these are noticeably less sensitive. You often have to speak louder to be understood. If you're trying to be discreet in public, this can be an issue. With the Metas, you can almost whisper and it picks it up pretty well. Now, let's get to the big one, the camera. This is where Rokid actually lands some heavy punches. Both glasses are good, but for different reasons. The Meta Gen 2 records 3K video optimized for vertical shooting. The Rokid Style records 3K video at 30 frames per second and captures 12 megapixel photos just like the Meta Gen 2. In good lighting, standing still, the picture quality is actually pretty comparable. What really separates them isn't sharpness, it's flexibility. Rokid lets you shoot 4x3, 3x4, and 9x16 natively. That means real horizontal footage, which the Meta cannot do. It also records videos up to 10 minutes long. The Ray-Ban caps this at 3 minutes. For long takes, interviews, or continuous podcasts, that's a genuine win for Rokid. Overall, the video quality is similar. Meta's stabilization is supposed to be better and probably is. but honestly, it didn't jump out to me as a massive differentiator. Meta, however, fights back with a couple of features that Rokid doesn't have. The Ray-Ban supports slow motion video. They also support time-lapse. Rokid does not. There are some subtle capture differences too. The Rokid's voice-activated camera has a small delay. Meta feels more instant. Another place where Meta clearly wins is audio. The noise reduction on the Meta mics is noticeably better. If it's windy, your audio on the Rokid is going to suffer. Now, let's talk about the brain or AI. This is where the marketing for the Rokid really breaks down. Rokid calls this an open ecosystem. The marketing suggests you can choose your AI model, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Qwen, whatever. That was not my experience. I dug through the settings. I even asked the AI itself. You cannot change the model. You're just as locked in as you are with the Meta. Despite that, I had high hopes. After all, Rokid runs on ChatGPT, which in theory should be smarter than Meta's AI. And for at least one input modality, maybe it is. I used Look and Tell on my BenQ projector, and Rokid gave me a nuanced, detailed breakdown that was actually slightly better than Meta's. But as an assistant, it falls behind. I asked for the latest stock prices. Meta didn't miss a beat. On the other hand, Rokid said it couldn't access that information. And then finally, there's translation. The marketing for Rokid strongly implies live translation. I assumed this was a no-brainer and a given. But I was genuinely surprised to find that Rokid cannot do live translation. Compared to the Ray-Ban Metas, the Even Reality G2, which do this really well, that's a fundamental miss. So, all things considered, is Meta in trouble? Well, not yet. But they should certainly be looking over their shoulder. So what's the final verdict? If you want the most polished, reliable experience, if you want great audio, discrete voice commands, and features like live translation that just work today, buy the Ray-Bans. They're probably still the king. But Rokid has proven that the gap is closing fast. If you're someone who needs 10-minute recordings and a horizontal video, and if saving $80 matters to you, the Rokid is definitely a genuine alternative. The smart glasses race is finally heating up, and Meta isn't the only game in town. And that's probably a good thing for all of us. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like and subscribe. Coming up soon, I'll have a direct comparison of the Meta display and the Even Realities G2, as well as a review on my experience with the INMO Air 3.